Good evening, Philippines, and good evening, PSME. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Wheels of Progress podcast, the podcast for mechanical engineers. I am your host, Bonnie Digala, and tonight we will be talking about the mechanical engineer in the corporate world. Our special guest for this episode is no less than our very own engineer Adrian Andy N. Moncada, PME. Before we introduce our guest, we would like to acknowledge some of our sponsors. This podcast episode is brought to you by New Agri Industrial Marketing and General Services Incorporated. They are the primary dealer of agricultural machineries and equipment. Their vision is to be the premier center for post-harvest facilities and mechanization development in Western Visayas. They have this showroom, and their office building is located at the 5th Street, Lawaan Village, Balantangharo, Iloilo City, and it's near the Ceres Terminal. Also, one of our sponsors is the House of Ecolife Iloilo Roastery and Cafe. Really good coffee at an affordable price. Freshly roasted, freshly grind. They have a, a cafe at Haro, Iloilo City. Okay, so our special guest for tonight, as I mentioned, is Engineer Adrian Andy Moncada. He is an awardee of TOME, the Outstanding Mechanical Engineer. And also, he is a PSME Fellow awardee. One of, I think, it's the highest award that PSME can give to a mechanical engineer in the country, in the Philippines. And also, he is a past uh, vice president for the Visayas of the Philippine Society of Mechanical Engineers National Chapter, or PSME National. Also, he is the past president of PSME Panay, a past president as well of the Rotary Club of Iloilo, and a retired corporate executive. That's why we invited him today, because he comes from the corporate world. And currently, he is a mechanical projects consultant and also an entrepreneur. Let's all welcome our special guest for this episode, Engineer Andy Moncada. Sir Andy, good evening.
Good evening, Engineer Buni and all the mechanical engineers viewing tonight. This is a very good project of PSME Panay, and I salute to this that you have that you were able to put this in reality, and I'm encouraging more projects to come. That might be uh, adaptable during this pandemic period.
Yes.
Ah, medyo nagmasakit ako after nga ma-receive ko ang imo invitation. So that's why medyo mainom lang ko gamay tubig while speaking, no? But I am very happy na I am invited in this forum, and I can share my own experiences, for the benefits of our fellow mechanical engineers.
Yes. So thank you very much, Sir Andy, for giving us this opportunity to have you here. And before we proceed, sir, I would like to mention those who are watching us via our Facebook Live. Engineer Dorman Joseph Herona, good evening. And Engineer Glenn Saldivia, good evening. Sir Andy, uh, I think my introduction is very short. Can you please tell us more about yourself? I mean, what you are up to now, what have you been busy with? Yeah, anything about yourself to
Well, I
update
will
us.
maybe I will share my present activities, no,
Okay.
after retirement. So after retirement, I set up two cooperatives, no.
Okay.
One cooperative is the First Ilonggo Retirees Multipurpose Cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
It is it is a cooperative offering services for labor contracting
Okay.
and janitorial services.
Mm.
It is also likewise offering construction and allied services, environmental services, and
Mhm.
marketing.
Okay.
Nevertheless, our focus at the moment is on these two services, no? Yung
Mhm.
janitorial and labor contracting.
Okay.
And we have clients in the power industry, in the medical industry,
Mm.
in the in the government,
Wow.
in the basically we focus or in power industry because we know very
Okay.
well, no, power industry. But for our janitorial services, we also extend it to some other industries, no.
Wow.
Then the other cooperative that I established was the Abaidja General Engineering Cooperative.
Okay.
So all kinds of engineering services are part of our purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but at present we are
So two cooperatives. Uh,
installations
okay. Mm-hmm.
of the rooftop solar systems, no,
Okay.
for
Wow.
residential houses
Mm.
and
Nice.
small commercial establishments.
Okay. Wow. So you have two
So
cooperatives there. You're involved, directly involved in the running of
yes,
those.
I am the chairman of the board of those.
Wow. So you have two chairmanships, chairman of the board for those two cooperatives. Mm. Okay. So wow. Okay. So uh, did your experience, sir, in the corporate world help you to have some foundations or to have some prior knowledge or know-how on creating or founding this co-founding this cooperative, sir?
Well, basically, my connections, no, during my corporate life
Mm-hmm.
was the one who is the foundation of this cooperative. No, we got the contracts from the people that I know when I was still in the corporate world, no, when I was
Mm-hmm.
still active in the corporate world. So it helps a lot,
Okay.
no.
Wow.
And in addition to that, because I'm a mechanical engineer, and mostly the industries that we also targeted are mechanical industries.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the clients has more confidence
Mm-hmm.
that it is led by a mechanical engineer.
Oh,
So
Wow, that's nice to know.
So
Mhm.
I have also a concrete hollow blocks factory, no,
Okay.
at Barangay Hibaw-an Sur, Mandurriao.
Okay.
And that business I started likewise in 2010 after retirement,
Wow.
and it's still selling, no, at this point of
Mhm.
time. And I use my mechanical engineers in the formulation of the hollow blocks,
Mhm.
which will be cheaper to produce but strong, no, in
Wow.
strength.
Wow.
So we can compete in durability
Mhm.
with the famous brands, but we are cheaper, no, in cost. So
Wow.
that's where mechanical engineering was also, and also we are more mechanized, no, than the others, no,
Mm. Okay.
in our production. So again, the mechanical engineering in me was the
Mhm.
one who think of those methodologies, no,
Okay.
in producing hollow blocks.
Wow. So this episode seems is becoming more exciting, sir, because of the despite of the fact that it's already after your retirement, you're still very active, and after retirement, you became more productive in personally and with your team. So let's proceed,
And
sir. Before yes, sir.
probably probably earning more than when I am
Oh,
still working.
really? Amazing. Despite of that, despite executive, despite of using, I mean, becoming a executive before, sir. So you could still say that you're earning a modest after retirement. That's that's nice to know, sir. Yeah. So maybe, sir, we can proceed then to our next to our first question, or you want to
Okay.
tell us more. Okay. So also, sir, watching with us. Oh, there. The number is increasing, sir. Those who are watching us in Facebook in Facebook. I would like to mention Engineer Kiko Ritazo. Uh, I know this man is also a a entrepreneur in the making. You know, I believe many of those who are watching are also working in the corporate world, and they would be uh, uh, learning a lot from this episode. So, sir,
And Engineer
uh,
Puni, maybe I can also likewise mention that I'm still a consultant of
okay.
two companies at present, no?
Mm-hmm.
And I am also receiving, compensations for being consultants.
Wow.
So that's why you have your own time.
Okay. Wow. So, chairman of the board of two cooperatives, owning one hollow block like hollow block factory, etc., and also a consultant after retirement. So I see some of the reactions in the cancer in Facebook. They are wow. So they are that wow's smiley emoticon. So because of the of what you've shared with us so far. So yes, sir. Proceed, sir.
Okay. Shall we proceed with the first question?
Yes, sir. Okay. So this is the first question, sir. Why venture in the corporate world? Uh, what are the advantages and disadvantages, sir? Because as we know, we can start building our maybe a small business after graduation. But why venture in the corporate world? Are there advantages?
Well, I would say that if you land in a big corporations,
Mm-hmm.
definitely you will earn more from the government employment, no?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because obviously private corporation pays more than the government employees, and it's a matter of what company, no, are you going to land in. And
Mm-hmm.
but if you land in big corporations, like I did, no,
Mm-hmm.
I think I earn more than my peers in the government services.
Oh. Can you mention, sir, your first corporation? Where did you work first? What
Well,
company?
I work in Meralco Industrial Engineering Services Corporation.
Wow, Meralco.
Yeah, that's
That's giant.
and in in Mirand Corporation.
Mm, okay.
And then my Mirand Corporation is a multinational, no?
Okay.
And then the global, which is under sa Metrobank group.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's where I retired, no?
Okay. Wow. So are there advantages, sir, and
My
disadvantages?
other my other employer, my other employer gali is one pa ang First Philippine Holdings Corporation, no? A Lopez Group of companies.
Okay.
Still
That
part
was
of
after Meralco.
the Meralco Group, no?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hired by the
So
First Philippine Holdings Corporation, which is a Lopez Group, no?
okay.
And then Miran, and then Metrobank Group.
Okay. So how many years were you, sir, in the corporate world?
Well, I started working. I graduated in 1977,
Mm.
March of 1977. 3 days after I took the board examination,
Oh wow. No review,
and
sir.
then August, no
No
review, no,
title.
just self review,
Wow, amazing.
and I passed that August of that same year.
Oh.
And then when I went to Manila for my induction, I was offered a job, no, during that ceremony in our
Okay.
table. There was an executive there who accompanied his nephew, and then he gave his calling card
Mhm.
that if you are interested, please apply in our company.
Okay.
So the next week, I went to that company, and I was given the entrance examination and interview, and I was accepted immediately to start.
Mhm.
So my first job was a instrumentation engineer, no?
Oh.
Instrumentation engineer. So instrumentation is not really emphasized during our student days, no?
Okay.
We were just only given some theories on instrumentation, but
Mhm.
we don't even have practical, no? Because the laboratory has no instruments for the instrumentation, right?
Mm.
The
Is that the pneumatic subject, sir? The
school
subject that we
laboratory,
call pneumatics in college? Or is that
no, no
a different type?
instrumentation.
Implementation.
That's the automation, no?
Okay.
So I grabbed that because I want to know some more principles on automation or
Mhm.
instrumentation.
Okay.
But I did not really stay there for long uh, because when my boss requested me to deliver his quotation to Meralco,
Mhm.
I saw the uh, the announcement in their bulletin board that
Okay.
they wanted cadet engineers.
Mhm.
So I went there and present myself and inquire about the applications.
Okay.
So there were Ilonggos in that HR department, and they helped me to process my application. But I did not told my boss that I applied. No.
Mm.
Then next step was I was informed by Meralco to take the entrance examination.
Okay. So that's
So
why you
I took
landed there,
the
Meralco.
but the examination there were 5 batches of examinations,
Mhm.
and it is held in the Meralco Theater, no?
Okay.
So which can hold I think more than 300 people, no, or 500 people.
Mm. Okay.
So in other words, there are about 500 siguro people
Mhm.
there that are taking examinations because Meralco during the time is the number one employer, no, in the Philippines.
Okay. So you're
So
very answer, very fortunate to have worked to be one of the
so
Iloncos who was able to work there.
but they took only 20 out of those thousands of applicants.
Mm.
So and then we had this 1 year training, no? 6 months training in theory or engineering, and then 6 months in practical. But after
Mm.
6 months in theory, uh, they evaluated us, and only 15 of us passed the first stage of the training.
Okay. Okay.
So after that second stage, they uh, they selected only 7 of us. No?
Oh, so from several hundred, sir, seven were
Yes,
employed.
yeah,
Wow.
7 were employed.
So,
But during that time, after your employment, you are a supervisory position immediately.
oh,
And that is a cadet engineering program of Meralco, which
mm,
is a very prestigious program
okay.
because that is this is where the managers came from.
Mm,
They are only selecting managers from the cadet engineer graduates.
oh, okay. Wow. So that's why you were able to land a job at
Yes,
Meralco, sir. So after
Meralco.
Meralco, you worked with First Philippine Holdings or
After
Meralco?
Meralco, there was a after Meralco, I was offered by the First Philippine Holdings a job
Mhm.
here in Iloilo City
Ah, okay.
for the Panay diesel power plant, no.
Mm,
So I retired from Miescor. It is
mm,
a because in Miescor you can retire after 10 years, no. Uh,
mm,
you can you can you can opt to retire.
okay.
So I retired after 18 years in Miescor,
Mm,
and then I took the job in First Philippine Holdings for this project of Panay Diesel, no.
okay.
And they offered me double of my salaries, no, of
Wow.
my whatever I received from Yescor, they doubled it.
Mm,
And then during those times, after that, uh, First Philippine Holdings sold Panay Power Corporation, the diesel plant, to
Okay.
Mirant.
Okay.
And then Mirant decided to acquire me likewise, no, to part of the deal. So the plant
Okay.
manager, I was the plant manager of the Panay Power Plant diesel.
Oh, wow.
And then I was part of the deal, no. So during that deal, I was given I think a 6 months bonus by
Wow.
the First Philippine Holdings
Okay.
uh, because I'm going to leave them
Mm,
and I will transfer to Mirant. But in Mirant, they retained also, I was already an assistant. During the time of the Panay Power Corporation, I was
mhm.
already the assistant vice president. No?
Ah, so that's why you retired as a corporate executive.
Uh,
That's
so in Mirant, I retained my assistant vice president position.
AVP.
And then, yeah, and then in Miran, I was lucky also, no, because since First Philippine Holdings is a low-piece group, they have an American system, no, because Meralco is an American company, no, before.
Okay. Okay.
So they have an American system.
Mm,
So so when I transferred to Miran, Miran likewise is an American company.
okay.
So what we did, whatever privilege that I have in the Lopez group, I retain. Whatever privilege that I was not able to get from Miran, I can have.
Wow.
In other words, I am more than the Miran employees, no? Because some benefits of Lopez are not present
Mm,
in Miran.
okay.
So
Mm,
again, that was a luck, no, to me also.
yeah.
So until I retire, no. But
So
I
from
retired.
1970,
I
what
was
year was that, sir? What
ang
year did
ano.
you retire? What year did you retire, sir?
I retired in 2010 at the age
So
of 55.
2010 of 55.
At the age of 55. But when I
Wow.
retired, I
Wow.
asked the management of Global to give me because there was an offering, no. I
Okay.
think it's 2.4 months
Mm,
for every year of service.
wow.
But it was offered originally for those 60 years old and above.
Okay.
But I was only 55 during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I asked the management if I can join the retirement. And then
Mm,
they said, well, the president during that time was hesitant to give me the approval
okay.
for retirement, no? Because I'm
Mm,
still young, no? It's 55
mm,
years old. But I
mm,
told him that that was the time when I finished already. I was assigned lead the uh, to lead the project of coal plant.
wow.
Prepare for
So
the
historical, sir, your engagements are so historical to Iloilo City and the whole
yeah
of
when I
Manila.
yeah so when I
Milestones.
got the ECC of the coal plant, it's already a go signal that it's approved, no, for construction. So that's the time that when I asked to retire, because I told them I am already finished my mission. Although I
Mm,
was offered supposed to be to take the vice president position in main office for the whole company.
mm,
But I refused that. Sabihin ko, uh, it's enough because my family is already here. So I do not want to go back to Manila
okay.
and
Wow.
then come back to Iloilo every now and then. Although we have still a house in Manila, no, we still have a house
Mm,
there, complete with facilities and car.
okay.
But it's difficult for me again because I brought already my family here in Iloilo. So I'm afraid that they will ask me, ano ba talaga?
Okay, so it was really your choice, sir, to retire.
Yeah, it was my choice, and
Part
I
of
asked that.
the demand for your expertise.
Yeah, and I asked that because after all, I have done my mission, and I also requested them if they can give me na hindi dapat may wala tax free, no,
Okay,
tax free. And
okay.
then at the same time, I asked also my car plan. That was the first year of my Toyota utility van.
Mm,
So supposed to be the
return.
arrangement there was it should be 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So but it was only the first year. So I asked him
Okay.
if I can have the van, no? And they
Mm.
also agree, no, to give me the
Wow.
van.
So everything that you requested, sir, was granted.
Yeah,
They
almost
love you so
everything that
much.
I requested was granted, no. So
Wow.
uh, anyway, you have been given all your efforts naman and everything. They know very well that it was very hard to have the
Let
ECC,
go.
but
Ah, yeah, yeah. That's why.
I was able to get it. So it was perhaps a price or an incentive also for me,
Wow.
no, to
Amazing.
retire.
So,
And that
so
was
see,
the time that I asked and that
okay.
was also the time that I asked them that I can, if I can have a cooperative for the
Mm.
janitorial services because
Wow.
they are casuals before, no. So
Mm, okay. So the
so they
trust, sir, that you earned for many years, you're able to use that as leverage in order to, yeah, to, I mean, to have your requests also to be
oh
granted.
yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
trusted. Wow. So from 1977 to 2010, that's 30 plus years of experience in the corporate world, sir. 30 plus, 1977. So 30 plus. No?
Yeah,
87,
yeah.
2007, 87, 97, 2007 plus 3 years. So that's 33 years of experience in the corporate world. And
Yeah.
wow. And we are so fortunate here, sir, because you you let us know about these things because these are really personal choices that not many, even maybe some of your your subordinates still do not know until now your personal decisions and the the benefits, the perks. But we are so fortunate here in PSME that you're opening your heart to us, your secrets.
My pleasure is my pleasure.
So in your 30 plus years of experience or in the corporate world, do you have some regrets that maybe if you work for the government, maybe you have a better pension plan or whatever, career wise, or what? Do you have some regrets or you're contented and
Well, I think nothing at all, and I am happy with where I am today. You know, I consider that I was able to attain my vision, no, of what I would be in the future.
wow. So that's why there's a lot of uh, of great things waiting for us in the if we venture in the corporate world. That's for the first question, sir. What you mentioned are really beautiful benefits, very beneficial to many of us if we venture in the corporate world. So wow. So that's for the first question. I would like to, before we proceed, sir, to the next question. There's engineer, our vice president for PSME Panay, engineer Victor Pardilla is watching, and he has a comment here. Good evening to all, to Sir Andy, and to Engineer Bonnie, viewing from home.
Good evening. Good evening, Engineer Victor.
Yeah, he's watching us. And yeah, so I think that's enough for the first question. So why venture in the corporate world? Because there are a lot of perks, a lot of benefits there. If we are called to that, if we are called to that mission, as what Sir Andy mentioned, that he was able for him, he was able to fulfill his mission in the corporate world. So for the second question, sir, or do you want to show uh, visual aids, sir, for the first question or for the second question?
Uh, what's the next question?
The second question is, as a mechanical engineer, how does one properly equip oneself for and in the corporate world? And also, in connection to the first question, what are the career opportunities for engineers in the corporate world?
Okay, so I prepared a simple PowerPoint presentation,
Okay.
which hopefully this will give them more informations, no?
Okay.
Okay. Will you allow me
Yes, sir.
to share?
Go ahead, sir, please.
Okay. Makita na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me proceed with my next slide. Okay, career opportunities in the corporate world. No, I answered this in two stages. First is I enumerated some industries with mechanical engineer jobs, no?
Mm-hmm.
And these are power, water, automotive, textile, manufacturing, food,
Okay.
oil, construction, automation, uh, robotics,
Okay.
medical,
Even in the
education.
medical field, sir. Ah?
Oh yes, the hospitals, no? The hospitals has a lot of mechanical system,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Uh, so education,
Yeah.
even in legal, no? Kita mo
Mm.
si past President Attorney Juan Jo Marie
Lamparero.
Lamparero.
Mm.
So, gas, airline,
Mm-hmm.
pharmaceutical,
Okay.
and feeds. No, these are only some of
Wow.
the basically all probably with machineries. No, all industries with machineries needs mechanical engineer.
Mm. So it seems that there are a lot of career opportunities, sir, for mechanical engineers.
Yeah, it's a matter of choice for a mechanical engineer. What specialization he would like to have in his career, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually, if you will be in power industry, myself was in the power industry almost all in my experiences in my career.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
why I would consider myself an expert in the power industry, no?
Mm-hmm.
So
30 plus
and
years of experience in the power
hmm,
industry.
and power and water are almost the same, no?
Mm.
So if you know power, you will be you know also water.
Mm.
So it's not difficult to transfer from power to water, no?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you have experience in power, you are very much welcome in water industry.
Okay, that's nice to know.
Oh, so in all of these industries, in the sugar industries, no, sila engineer Victor are there in the sugar
Yeah,
industry.
Engineer
So
Victor is also with us.
these are only some of the industries that I mentioned. No?
Mm.
Okay.
And
The
also,
second
sir,
part,
you mentioned education because
oh,
without our
we have
mechanical engineer
professors.
teachers, we cannot produce more engineers in the industry.
Yeah, definitely, no,
Yeah.
definitely. So anywhere, my mechanical engineer jobs available.
Okay. Wow. So,
So,
so there's a question here, sir, in the Facebook. In Facebook, uh, maybe I think it's also connected to this uh, career opportunities and all. But this is about the skills. Also, sir, I would like to mention Engineer Jeriel Militar is also watching with us in Facebook Live. Good evening, Sir Jeriel.
good
There's a
evening,
question.
Chris Ariel.
Oh, he's watching with us, and and the question is this: what are the skills that a young engineer? Because I see also, sir, in the Facebook Live watching us are some young engineers. Engineer Christian Palmani is watching. I know he's a young engineer as well. And the question is, what are the skills that a young engineer should develop in order to thrive in the corporate world?
Well, usually ang skills will be developed when you are there inside already, no? When you
Mm,
start working. Because when you are in the entry point, no, of your career, I think skill is not really important. The theoretical knowledge is what they are looking, no, at you, and then your attitude, no.
mhm,
That's why there are competency tests, uh, character test, no,
mhm,
and then interviews that
mhm.
they are
So, character tests, interviews, the skills. So, Sir Andy is answering the question, what are the skills that a young
to
engineer
determine
develop?
your theory, no, your theoretical
Okay,
knowledge on mechanical engineering. And
okay,
then once you are inside, they will train you, no, for the skills.
okay. Wow. So,
But in some small, however, in some small companies, what they do is they will engage you immediately, no, sa trabaho.
mhm,
Then sometimes when you enter, how can I do my job? You have no orientation, you have no. So, di
mhm,
ba? But these are small companies. But if you learn to medium and big companies, definitely they will train you first.
mm. Okay, so theoretical
I
skills are
hope I have
mentioned,
answered
the skills.
the
So,
question as expected.
okay. Maybe, sir, we can mention some like uh, specific, like siguro character as what you have mentioned, character traits that we need, and other skills, specific skills. So again, we are Sir Andy is answering the question: what are the skills that a young engineer should develop in order to thrive in the corporate world? So, Sir Andy, okay, good evening for the to those who are watching with us again in Facebook. Engineer Victor Pardilla, Engineer Jeriel Militar, Engineer uh, Christian Palmani. Good evening. I think Sir Andy, well, we're back. We just lost you a while ago. You are muted, sir. Kindly unmute. Okay. Okay, so Sir Andy is back and he's now with us again. Uh, yeah. Sir Andy, you're muted again, sir. We
Nadulas
lost
ito.
you. Yeah, we lost you for a while. But it's okay. I just mentioned those who are watching us in Facebook.
So
So
mabalik
that's
ko
clear,
liwat
sir.
sa sharing ko.
Yes, sir. Okay. So those are the opportunities, sir, ano, for
Yeah,
for a mechanical engineer in the corporate world.
yeah. So can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The second answer in the first question was some positions available for mechanical engineers. No?
Mm-hmm.
And these are only some that I so far that I encountered or I
Okay. So it seems that there's some technical problems.
procurement.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hello, okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
procurement officer, safety engineer, sales
Mm-hmm.
engineer, operations engineer,
Mm-hmm.
maintenance engineer, design engineer. You can also be a supervisor, manager.
Mm-hmm. So installation engineer, QC engineer, project control engineer, estimator, procurement officer, safety engineer, sales engineer, operations engineer, maintenance engineer, design engineer, supervisor, manager, executive, professor, attorney, entrepreneur. So these are some of the positions that are available. Sir Andy, we lost you again.
Wala na, wala.
Yeah. Okay.
Balik ko liwat.
Okay, sir.
Okay na, gawa na sa share,
Yes,
no?
sir.
Share
Yes,
na
sir.
ang... So these are the positions available for mechanical engineers. No? Ang
Mm,
iba, no, ay kuman ma-mention dira, pero basically these are the popular positions, no?
okay.
Uh, for mechanical engineers.
Okay.
So I'm ready for the next question.
Okay. So our second question is, as a mechanical engineer, how does one properly equip oneself for and in the corporate world? So how does one equip
Okay,
oneself?
siguro ano, what I will do is maybe share
Okay, sir.
it and show the slide
Mm-hmm.
or the summary of my story. Of my
Okay.
story.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Wow, that's so practical
Okay.
from
So,
real world experience.
mm, okay. So first, I would say that after graduating in college, I have a vision of landing uh, or taking the industrial engineering course.
Mm,
It's not really mechanical engineering that I choose.
okay.
That I choose.
Mm-hmm.
No? And I passed already the entrance exam in UP Diliman.
Okay.
And in fact, it was only first the only exam that I got, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then I waited for that for this schedule, no, of
Mm-hmm.
the opening of the. However, I have a girlfriend who invited me to accompany her to take the entrance exam in the University of San Agustin.
Okay.
So I accompanied her. So instead of waiting, I decided to take also the entrance examination while
Mm-hmm.
waiting there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got I passed also the entrance examination of the University of San Agustin.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother eventually is objecting of my schooling in Diliman
Okay.
because she said I will become an NPA if I will be there in Diliman.
Okay.
It is because also that when I was in high school, I was into some radical activities
Mm,
likewise.
okay.
So I participate in the rallies, teach-ins, no? I conduct teach-ins and all that. And I am a member of a middle, where there is left, this is right, no? But it's a middle left organization during that time. So my mother was objecting and doesn't want me to, she will not approve of the idea of getting school in ano.
Mm,
And industrial engineering course was new in the Philippines during that time. It is only offered in UP and De La Salle University. But
okay.
the prospect for the job is very good because the multinational companies during that time, even if you are still a student in the school, no, undergraduate, you got already the offer. You are
Mm,
getting already the offer of
mm,
working with them after graduation.
okay.
And I was encouraged by my uh, by my ninong, no,
Mm,
who is a Tagalog, no,
mm,
and he was one who told me that the job opportunities of the industrial engineer graduates or in this industrial engineering graduates.
mm,
But since my mother will not allow me, so I decided to enroll in Houston because it's only the only university that I took the entrance exam.
okay.
So I took up the mechanical engineering
So
course.
that's around 1972, 71, 72.
72.
Okay.
That was 1972. So I I studied mechanical engineering and I studied it well, no.
Mm,
Although I'm involved, no, in some uh, in some gang wars, no,
wow.
in Iloilo City.
Mm,
I did not I did not I studied well, no, my engineering course,
mm,
and I graduated with I think more than 85% average, no.
okay. Wow. At that time with Engineer Soriano, ano, uh,
Yeah.
Engineer Mumbai, that was so difficult to have
So
that natural average.
I took every opportunity during summer to enroll some
Mm,
subjects That's why when I was in fifth year, I think during my last sem, I have only two subjects left.
Mm.
So that's why I have a time to make my review
So you
and
did an advanced review already.
my self review. And so
Mm.
I took the examination 3 days after graduation. So, but my score is not high, but it passed. No?
Mm.
So, so what is important is you pass. No? Okay.
Wow.
So when I Meralco, hello,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
we are still.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, uh,
So when I apply in Meralco, my average was also part of the criteria of accepting. Hello.
yes, sir. Yeah, we lost you for a few seconds. Go ahead, sir.
So my above 85% average was my criteria was my passes no sa Meralco to take
Mm.
the examination.
So that was from
And
the.
also before I
Mhm.
yeah
So from several hundreds,
go ahead.
you seven were
So,
left for the after the Meralco
yes,
examination.
yes. So yes. And our batch, no, that's seven of us,
Mm.
because some of them were not yet were not were not yet board passers, no.
Mm, okay.
So those seven, five of them, when they took the board exam during our training,
Okay.
they were board placers, no.
Wow. Because they did their review, sir. They had time for their review.
Not only that, our professors in our training were contributors of,
Oh, wow. That's a big leverage for them,
oh,
sir. So five of the seven,
and
sir, were board top notchers.
no, two of the seven,
Two of the seven. Wow.
yeah, two of the seven, but there were only, some of us are already board passer.
Mm.
So, but there were some of them who were not. So, but those who took the exam that year, two of them were became board passers.
So two of the five.
Uh,
Wow.
no board placers, no.
Oh, wow.
So it's it's because the questionnaires that were submitted by our professors, they
Mm.
also they also taught that also in our training, no?
Oh, wow.
So
That,
that's why I think the questions that they answered were already answered during our training, no?
okay. Wow. So I'm just curious, sir. I'm just curious if you from several hundreds, seven of you were left. So did the other six also had the same career, or did they reach the same level that you had?
Well, I have no knowledge of others, but I have knowledge of one
Mm-hmm.
who is also a successful entrepreneur, no?
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
He is the
Okay.
owner. He is the owner of a construction company
Oh, in Manila,
in
sir.
Manila.
Okay.
In Manila.
Wow. So so
I
so
have
in
no
order to equip oneself, sir, in order to equip oneself, first you have to follow your mother, and then to to study hard
yes,
and make good use of your
study
time,
hard.
sir. Like even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're not able to review for enough time for the board exam because you took your board exam 3 days after your graduation, still you can survive because
Yeah,
you made
yeah,
use of your time, your spare time during.
yeah, yeah. That's why it's very important to understand very well the principles of major, no, mechanical engineering subjects during your studies. Okay. Now, one reason also was that probably I took many entrance examinations of some other companies before that.
Mhm,
So I got familiar with some of the tests. No,
mhm.
uh, that's why that I can answer it well. No, that's also one factor perhaps.
Wow. Sir, I just want to mention, sorry, I have to interrupt because Engineer Ernesto Jocades Jr., the son of Sir Ato siguro, is watching also in Facebook Live. Hello. Hello. And
Good evening,
good
Engineer.
evening. Bata ni Sir Ato siguro. Andun si
Oo,
Sir Ato. I don't know kung junior si Sir Ato.
hindi,
Or
senior siguro.
senior siya. Okay.
Medyo
So, bata
nurse.
niya siguro.
Yeah.
Mechanical man yata, sir. So, that's why member man siya sa group. So, hello, good evening. And Engineer Dorman Joseph Herona. I think Engineer Herona is a young engineer also from Negros.
Okay.
I think
So,
from Polod. Mm-mm.
good
Is
evening,
watching
Engineer
also.
Erona.
Mm. And Engineer Bachoco, sir, is watching. Si Sir
Oo.
si Engineer Mau Bachoco is a comment here. Good evening, Engineer Andy. I am watching. Si Sir Maui. Si Sir Maui.
Good
Yeah.
evening, good evening, Engineer Mao.
So, sorry for interrupting you, sir.
So, when
But
I was,
yeah, now you may
mm,
continue, sir. But this the equipping side of a mechanical engineer to be
okay.
prepared for the corporate world.
Okay. So, when I was already working in Meralco, I see to it that I will learn more knowledge, no. And I became resilient, humble, no,
Mhm.
and hardworking.
Okay.
I really shown my bosses that I will accept their challenges, in work.
Mhm.
And in fact, I volunteer more often for positions that are open. No,
Mm. Oh.
I just tried. For example, I'm a lower position level, and
Mhm.
then there is an open for a higher position. I will always approach the boss that, boss, why not try me? No, no need of promoting me immediately for that specific position. Just observe me if I can do the job. If I can do the job, then that's the time that you are going to promote me.
Mhm.
Uh, and because that I have a very good relationship with the bosses, so more often I can convince them, to try me.
Mm.
And,
Okay.
I am always successful, in my try.
Mhm.
That's why I got the position of a manager in a very young age. No, I think I was only 32.
Wow.
That I
So
became a
at
manager.
my age, sir, you're already a manager.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so.
because I came in also as a supervisor immediately,
Okay.
after the 1 year training. No,
Mhm.
and then however, there is still, before being a manager, you become a superintendent first. So I still passed through a superintendent level until I became a manager.
I think you're one of the youngest managers, sir, especially an Ilonggo
Uh,
at Meralco.
that
Wow.
time, yeah, that time, I was one of the youngest
Mhm.
manager.
And
And
maybe the only Ilonggo, sir, that time?
no, in Meralco, when I came in, there are a lot of Ilonggos. No, in fact,
Okay.
when you are in the elevator, you're speaking Ilonggo eh.
Wow.
So many Ilonggos in
Mm,
Meralco.
mhm.
Okay, so uh, and my career path is good. And what is good in Meralco is that first, almost you don't need to be worried of your career because HR will take care of you. No,
Mm,
HR will always look forward for your advancement. No, and they will always see to it that you will be promoted. I think you should be promoted, or at least you will be given a step increase, no, in your
mm.
salary, not more than 2 years. No?
That's amazing, sir. Despite of their generosity, they're one of the long-lasting corporations in the Philippines. Despite of that,
Yeah,
they spend.
yeah,
I mean, they spend more. Maybe we can say that correctly. Na they spend more for their people in
yeah.
training, benefits, but still, until now, they are still here.
Yeah.
Dalco,
So they
right? Getting
will, no,
stronger.
you will be called by the HR. What trainings are you going to attend? No, not only in the Philippines but also abroad. No, they will send you abroad likewise for training. No,
Mhm.
so you either will be promoted or you will be given a salary increase.
Wow. So that's part of your concern, because as you mentioned, you had a you landed a good job with a good training program. So, but personally, sir, what were your, or until now maybe you still have them, your hobbies? What do you do with your spare time? Do you exercise? Do you read books? Or uh, can you share with us, sir, your personal secrets why you know so much in many things, in many fields, including business, entrepreneurship, and managing people? So,
Well, I am a I am a wide reader, no,
okay.
and believer of the principle that there is no such thing as there is no such thing that stop on knowledge, no.
Okay, okay.
You can never be full of knowledge.
Mhm.
There is always new things to learn. No? So ako, if I notice that I need these things, then I have to learn. No? Like for example, for the managerial positions, I am not an engineer, no. Pero I took the seminars on accounting for non-accountants, no.
Mhm, okay.
Uh, I even got a course of accounting for non-accountants in the in the si Imelda sang una may ara nga program sina sa
Mm,
Manila
accounting
nga
for
may
non-accountants.
school dira sa Pasig that gives so many kinds of uh, subjects, no.
Mhm.
I got the course there of accounting for accountants. I also racing.
Mhm. Wow. So
I also
with
got the course
our,
of biogas. Oh, biogas.
okay. So while we're waiting for Sir Andy, we would like to mention Engineer Eden Casiple, who is also watching us via Facebook Live. Eden Casiple, sir, si Engineer Eden Casiple is watching watching us, and then Si Kwan sir, the one we mentioned earlier, bata ni Sir Ato, si Engineer Diocades, may comment siya, "Good evening, Boss Andy." So, there's a question here, sir.
Good evening.
There's a question here, another
Mm.
question from Facebook. Uh, can good scholastic records provide the young engineer an advantage in climbing the corporate ladder? Or can one with not so good scholastic record in school still do good in the corporate world? Wow, beautiful question. Do you want me to repeat the
Well,
question, sir? Or yeah.
yeah. Well, good scholastic records can help you a lot, no,
Mm.
in your corporate exposure. Because good scholastic record also indicates that you are sharp, you have a sharp mind, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
You can easily be taught, no?
Mm-hmm.
Your only obstruction there is your attitude, no? Because some who has good scholastic records doesn't doesn't want to learn anymore, no?
Mm-hmm.
There is this intellectual arrogance, no, on them.
Wow. That's a new term, sir. Intellectual arrogance. I like that. Okay.
Okay, for those who are not really very good in in scholastic records, you are street smarts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on what position are you in, no?
Mm.
For example, street smarts are good in marketing. They are
Oh.
good. They are good in construction management, no?
Oh, that's nice.
So it depends on the position that you are
Okay.
handling. Okay, because sometimes good scholastic records does not translate into good human relations, no? Because you tend to be uh, not people oriented, no?
Mm,
You
okay.
tend to be working on yourself. So these high scholastic record people normally they are good in research.
Mm,
Okay,
wow.
so in research works, those works where they can be isolated, no, and they don't mingle with so many people, no.
Mhm.
Uh, that's what I observe. But I think smart people have more exposures, no, have more opportunities
Mhm.
in the corporate world.
Wow. So smart
Like
people.
myself, like
Mhm.
myself, I'm not so smart. I am not so intellectual. But I have proven that I am more important, no, to some other intellectuals
Okay.
in the in the company, no.
Mhm.
So in Miran, ah ang tawag nila sa amon is anak ng Diyos, no, because
Mm.
our office were in the penthouse of the building.
Wow. Wow.
And there are only some of us there, no. See, uh, my companions there is Sir Azurin,
Oh.
si Sir Arman Lapos, no. I don't know if you have heard about him, no, but he is also one of the executives of Global before. And then
Do you mean Jim Azurin, sir?
yes, Jim
Oh,
Azurin.
wow. Okay.
Then Mr. Engineer Narcida. Jim Azurin is a Ateneo graduate,
Okay.
and so with Arman Lacos, who is also from Ateneo.
Mhm.
Uh, Narceda is from, I think he is from Kua.
Oh.
Uh, And then there is another one there that is from De La Salle, and then another one from UP. No? And I was the only one from USA. No? So it means that you can be part of the big or important VIP in the company,
Mm.
uh, but not so smart or not so great in your
Scholastic during
course.
student days. Oo.
Although I have I said I am
'Cause,
uh,
you mentioned earlier, sir, that you had your 85 your
grades,
85 plus general average in college
uh,
helped you
mm,
to enter Meralco, right?
yes. But when I was in elementary, I was a third honorable mention.
Mm.
And then when I was in high school, I am a consistent in the honor rolls. So, but when in college, I'm still good, no, no problem with my studies, but I did not abuse it, no. I really studied, no, and then at the same time, a smart guy. Uh, I drink. I was into troubles so many times. So so
But would you encourage sir to go into trouble also in order to be like you?
no, my trouble is not that I started the trouble. No? I got involved
Okay.
because we have a sort of a fraternity
Mm,
during our college days. Although it's a
okay.
very informal, no. We
Mm,
call ourselves all of our classmates. I think we are about more than 100, no,
wow.
sa batch namon, no, of several sections.
Okay.
But we are all barkada, no?
Mm.
And we call ourselves Krokan, no? Krokan.
Wow, that's uh,
So it means that I'm not so much serious, but still studying, no? Studying well.
mhm. Wow. There's a comment here, sir. The comment says, agree, intellectual arrogance is a hindrance to one's development. So,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that term, sir. Maybe, sir, we can proceed now uh, to our last question.
At
So that,
siguro siguro ano ko lang na when working, no, work seriously and develop knowledge and skills, no.
mhm,
Uh, in preparation for retirement.
mhm.
Okay. So may I show
Yes, sir.
the
Go ahead. Yeah, share screen. Your screen.
screen
Oo.
to summarize, no?
Okay. Would you like to answer There's another question from another young engineer, sir. Engineer Dorman Joseph Herona.
Yeah.
Uh, the question before you answer, or would you like to share screen first? This is the question. The question goes this way, sir. How can we develop slash or what kind of leadership style that will be fit in the corporate world? How can we develop, and then what leadership style would fit in the corporate world?
Well, first siguro I will define between manager and leader.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do not get well kung what he means, whether he means of a manager or a leader, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. A manager, a pure manager, uses his power, no, his
Okay.
corporate power in
Okay.
order to give his command and let
Mm.
his subordinates follow his command. No?
Okay.
A leader is an influential person.
Mhm.
It's more of an influence
Wow, that's a
without
nice.
the power, without the
Mhm.
power behind you
Okay.
of the corporate power.
Mhm.
So that's a leader.
Mhm.
But it's good to be a manager and at the same time a leader.
Mhm.
Okay. So and leadership is to be a leader is actually a natural uh, talent of a person. He develops it since childhood
Okay.
until becomes a man, no? In fact, siling naton sometimes we can say nga ang mga palabarkada, no?
Mhm.
Negative ang dating.
Mhm.
Pero ang mga barkada, that's where you train to be a leader, right?
Mhm.
Because you're influencing your barkada eh. Lalo na
Okay.
among the barkadas, there is always a person that they consider their leader, di ba? Okay, so that's leadership, no?
Mhm.
While manager, you may not be able to be a leader, but
Mhm.
because you are a manager, you are being followed by your subordinate. But it's good that you are being followed by a subordinate because you're a leader, right?
Mhm. So just would like to emphasize, sir, what you mentioned about manager and leader. Manager, you mentioned, is someone who uses his power to uh, to reach goals like that. To
Yes,
and a
yes,
leader is someone who is a good influencer, an
yes.
influencer. Okay, wow,
And
that's a nice nice insights are on because that's a very that's a very common question in many as based on my observation in many webinars or trainings. What's the difference between a leader and a manager, like that? So thanks for that new insight, sir, about that one.
okay.
And yeah, so Engineer Herona commented, totally agree, sir. Appreciated. The one who asked the question. So, yes, sir.
Thank you. So I will proceed with the summary, no?
Okay, sir, because our last question here, maybe I believe that's also related to this one. How does
Yeah.
one make the best out of the corporate experience and how to stay motivated along the way? And I think this is related already to your
Sige.
visual aid, sir. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. So here, no? So how to properly equip oneself. First, have a vision of what you will be in the future.
Mhm.
Uh, Study hard in college to understand the principles of major mechanical engineering subjects.
Okay.
Third is apply in several companies to experience the entrance test they are using. Number four, work seriously and develop knowledge and specialized skills
Mhm.
and prepare for retirement. That specialized skills basically is a preparation for your retirement so that you can use it, no? Like in my case, I still have that knowledge until today. So that's
Mhm.
why I can be a consultant
Mm.
uh, to some mechanical projects, no?
Okay.
At, okay.
Mhm.
So, so proceeding to your next question, let me show also my slide
Okay.
on how to stay motivated, no?
Mhm.
First, siguro we mechanical engineering should be proud that mechanical engineering is the royal and
Wow.
ever green branch of engineering, no?
Why
Uh,
did you say so, sir? I'm just curious.
because
Uh,
because ang siguro ang royal because there are always mechanical engineering works in almost all of the industries, no?
Mm.
It's always available. It's the second oldest branch next to civil engineering that was
Oh,
instituted, no? Ang mechanical engineering.
wow.
And it got popular during the Industrial Revolution, ang
Mm-hmm.
mechanical engineering, okay. And it's evergreen branch because it's always ano ang evergreen branch because you get a good salary, no, in chemical engineering fields.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
Number two is employment in mechanical engineering is projected with 4% growth rate in 2019 to 2029, as fast as the average of other occupations.
That
So,
that that to answer that projection, I believe is very helpful also to our universities here, and for
yeah,
those who are involved in the formation of our mechanical future mechanical engineers. 4% growth rate, so meaning we have to campaign for students to study mechanical engineering because the projection is positive.
yeah, okay. There is a steady demand, no? It means that there is a steady demand for mechanical engineers.
Mm.
So, it is in demand in Middle East, Canada, and Germany, no? Kung gusto mo magpa-abroad, no?
Okay.
So, feeling ko, in order to stay motivated is to develop a specialized skills that you can use to earn after retirement. Because there are golden opportunities after retirement.
Wow. I would like to repeat that, sir. There are golden opportunities after retirement. I love that.
Yeah. So to motivate further, some famous mechanical engineers are Nikola Tesla, Carl Benz, Rudolf Diesel, James Watt, and Thomas Edison. No need of introduction because their family names already sounds familiar
Yes,
to
yes.
us.
Mm-mm. But I'm surprised, sir, to see Nikola Tesla, James Watt, and Thomas Edison in the list of mechanical engineers.
But
Only now
uh,
do I
but,
know that.
but the common thing to them is they are inventors, no?
Okay.
So in other words, mechanical engineers could be inventors.
Mm, okay. Mm-mm.
So that's the end of my presentation, and I'm open to additional questions, no, to be answered.
Wow. So that was a in the in the Facebook live. We don't have further questions, but because I believe we have covered a lot in this episode, sir. and uh, and maybe that's a good idea, sir. Just to mention here what you mentioned earlier, the campaign for our universities and colleges to high schools or high school students to study or to take up mechanical engineering in college, sir. Because of that 4% projection um, in the demand for mechanical engineers. Maybe in PSME, we can also do that again, especially now that we have the advantage of using technology to deliver career orientations
Mm.
online.
Actually, before I was not able to mention that before I got the after graduating in the Meralco training,
Mhm.
uh, while waiting for additional instructions,
Mm,
I took several entrance examinations of big companies, no?
okay.
And I qualified actually. So even to I reached a point of I'm always number one sa choice nila. But during the interview, uh, I will test them because anyway I'm decided to go to Meralco, no?
Mm,
So like for example in Concepcion Industries during that time, I was the first choice, no?
mm,
So I top their entrance exam. And
mm,
then during the interview, they offered me the salary, no?
mm,
Uh, this one and like that. And then I said that I will think about it, no? uh, and I wrote them a letter of regret, no? Later on.
mm,
But really, my purpose there was just to test their exams, and probably I will test myself also, no? of my capacities.
mm,
And then I have another company na selling, I think, pneumatic instruments. Na I was also the first choice. And again, I reported for interview, but I also give them my regret letter
mm,
and decided to join Meralco. So, so in other words, it's that's why I mentioned take several entrance examinations of different companies because many of them are adopting similar similar exams,
mm.
particularly in Manila. But it was very difficult also to look for jobs in Manila. I'm sure of that. No?
Wow. So we have covered a lot, sir, in this, and maybe we can invite you again in the near future for another, maybe another topic, or maybe we can expand more on this topic for tonight, because we have 700 plus, almost 800 members, and many of them, I believe, are not informed about this episode, but they can also watch the recorded Facebook Live in Facebook, and also they can watch this in YouTube, because we will upload
What's the
this in the
title
record.
sa What's the title sa YouTube?
Uh, the podcast, and then the specific title, the the mechanical engineer in the corporate world. Maybe we can have it available by tomorrow, hopefully, if we can finish uploading it. Mm. So, sir,
Okay.
can you please help us, because I believe you have many mechanical engineers were under you before, under your leadership, for in the more than 30 years of experience in the corporate world. Can you please help us campaign, or to encourage our mechanical engineers who are watching and who will be watching this episode to join us for our main big event on September 18.
Oh, may I invite our fellow engineers, no, to join the virtual general membership meeting for Panay PSME Panay chapter. This will be a new way of doing things during the pandemic period, and let's experience it, no, and get more knowledge. Uh, Personally, I believe that this will stay for some time,
Mhm.
and so therefore we have to adapt ourselves to this situation, and so therefore it may be the new norms. No, we do not know. But I think we can only learn through virtual today. No? So I encourage everyone to participate, to help also our, to reactivate, no,
Okay.
our membership in our beloved PSME Panay chapter. No? Uh, and then there will be an upcoming national convention likewise
Mhm.
in October. No?
Okay.
So, so let's join all of these activities, no? And particularly here in Tanay chapter, so that we can strengthen our chapter, no, during this pandemic period. So let's be active in the programs, like for example, in this podcast, no, program. This is very noble, and I enjoy it and I like it. And hopefully this will continue. And I suggested, in fact, to Engineer Boni that probably we can start from this, that we can develop our own training center here in
Wow.
Tanay. Okay.
Wow.
So again, thank you, and I'm happy that I was able to share also my knowledge, and I hope that you got some tips, no, in what I have shared to you tonight.
Wow. Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
inviting
Uh,
me, Engineer Boni.
yes, sir. Thank you very much as well. And I believe that maybe from your experience that being an active member in PSME, despite of the time and resources that it would cost, uh, will in the end become beneficial to the life of a mechanical engineer, as what we can see from your uh, from your personal uh, achievements, that I know you have been a very uh, active member of PSME, and that even after retirement you are still active, and thankfully, thanks to God, you're still fit, no, and still sharp in mind and and body, and a, a source, a great source of wisdom for us, the younger mechanical engineers. So thank you very much, Sir Andy, for sharing your time with us, for sharing your wisdom, and for sharing the nuggets of wisdom from your personal experience. We look forward to inviting you again in this podcast, the the Wheels of Progress podcast, the podcast for mechanical engineers. Again, we would like to thank those who are watching us in Facebook, via Facebook Live, and we hope to see you again on our next episode of this podcast. So, Sir Andy, once again, thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you and good night, everyone.
Okay.